chakra. So when as we start to move up to the third chakra, this is where we start to separate from the herd to individual self. Okay. The solar plexus chakra has to do with our ability to know who we are separate from mom and dad, society, and culture. It's the place where we have a sense of individual self. This is who I am, separate from the outside world. Things like enmeshment, codependency, all have to do with the deficiency of the solar plexus chakra. So now let's look at what creates imbalances in the solar plexus chakra. Imbalances have to do with when there's any restriction in the right to act, because the solar plexus chakra is our power center where there is will and there's action. It's also where we have our divine masculine. Now, the divine masculine energy can be anywhere, but primarily we can understand the solar plexus chakra as the expression of our divine masculine. There's also the yin energy there as well, which is another dimension of it. So anytime there has been restriction of your self-expression, the restriction of your self-expression, such as mom and dad being excessively punishing, teachers being excessively judgmental, that restriction in self-expression doesn't let you know who you are as an individual soul. You're as an individual being. Your soul in your expression, you are a spark of the divine, and you as a spark of the divine is here to express a quality of the divine through your physical instrument. You're made exactly as you're meant to be, so the consciousness of creation can know itself in this expression that is you. So what happens is that whenever there's restriction of the self, that creates imbalances and the loss of self. Who am I? When we meet people who are confused about their self-identity, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? What's my truth? That has to do a lot with the imbalances of the solar plexus chakra, the Manipur chakra. So let's look at the next point here. Restrictiveness on the expression of behavior impairs the person's right to act. And what else impairs our right to act is the fear of punishment. If I do this, I'll be punished and there'll be consequences. Therefore, I better shut my self-expression to be safe. So this is how the culture or family or society enforces blind obedience. And I know, and Anodea Judith, in her beautiful book called Eastern Body, Western Mind, talks about these principles here. So I kind of want to pause. I want to ask you for a moment. So what do you think about your solar plexus chakra? And maybe what influences in your life may have created some restriction? We all have this. You don't have to go into detail of the trauma, but you can say, I noticed that when I was younger, there's this part of me that wasn't fully able to express herself. So I kind of want to just create this space right now to tap into yourself. Breathe in your solar plexus and feeling into, I know there's something about me. There's a part of my light and expression, but I kind of find that maybe over the years or when I was younger, it was sort of restricted. And as a result, I kind of felt some loss of self. Yes. So I understand what you're saying about the workplace. It can be very by the rules. Now, there is a power in discipline because you're channeling the energy towards a direction, and the CEO is the boss is supposed to be the torch of that direction. But at the same time, it can be probably quite frustrating at times. And there might be a part of you that wants to actually express her will in the workplace. So when that happens, what I think about is we may not be nurtured in the workplace to have the full expression of self-identity. Therefore, we are completely responsible to find other outlets outside of our workplace to really have that expression. You got to feel empowered because you have different outlets of self-expression. When we feel like we don't have will and we can't be spontaneous because our right to act was restricted. It's like, and this decreases our vitality and life force energy. The right to act is life force energy moving through you. And when you can't allow it, it decreases our vitality and life force energy gets stuck.
Okay. Right.
So how do we develop inner authority? When I say the word inner authority, tune into what that means for you. Have you thought about what is the definition of your inner authority? Who is your inner authority? And for me right now, I think my inner authority means that it's very strange, but I'm in the present moment. And I recognize that there's a source of wisdom within me that I can listen to. That's my inner authority. So how do we develop inner authority? I want to give you some tips, and then I'm going to go into a bit of an exercise. The first thing that I realized about how I can develop inner authority for myself, my help for you, is to really learn how to feel and be responsive to your energy field, but your emotions, your feelings, your sensations. The feminine body is like so attuned that we don't even know how attuned your body is to the world around you. So beginning to learn to listen to your inner emotional response. Is this aligned? Is this true for me? That's the first step to inner authority. Dropping in and tapping in and listening. This is why it's really important for the feminine to create a lot of space for herself, spaciousness, where she can go into a place of self-nurturing and self-care. So what have I learned about how do I let go of giving my power away, which is the opposite of inner authority? I've learned that the first thing I had to learn was how to sit in the discomfort of somebody being displeased with me. The only reason why we are giving our power away is because we don't feel comfortable sitting in somebody not being happy with us or disapproving of us. And then we try to stop ourselves from feeling this bad feeling by giving in or giving our power away. So we're constantly trying to avoid the feeling of they're not happy with me. Once you can start to learn to sit with the discomfort of not being pleasing to them and process the feeling, process it, you have to ask yourself the question, when they don't like me or they're disapproving of me or they're not happy with me and I give in, I modify, I seek approval, what personal doubts and fears are they amplifying in me? There's a reason why their response towards you is sticking to you. It's sticky. When it's sticky, it's like, stop. And why it's sticky and why you're not detached is because their feedback about you or thoughts about you is actually amplifying your own personal doubts and fears. So you got to start to process the feelings, look at what are they mirroring in your own self. And once you can start to clear and heal that with trauma therapy or whatever it is, then if they continue to be displeased with you, you're no longer going to be triggered. There's no vibrational match. You're like, yeah, okay. Right. So let's go into some work now. Let me just see here. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to have you now, we're going to go into a meditation.